Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into breaking news that's shaking up the nation. It's January 20th, 2025, and President Donald Trump, on his first day back in office, has wasted no time signing a slew of executive orders. Some of these decisions are making waves across the political spectrum and sparking heated debates everywhere, from Congress to your social media feed. In this video, we're unpacking 10 of the most controversial executive orders signed today. From changes to immigration policy to rollbacks on diversity programs and more, these moves are guaranteed to stir strong opinions. So grab a seat and stick around because we're breaking it all down. What's happening, why it matters, and how it could affect you. And trust me, you'll want to stay tuned to the very end for some of the most jaw-dropping details. Ready? Let's get into it. Redefinition of gender recognition. President Trump has issued an executive order redefining the federal government's recognition of gender, acknowledging only two immutable sexes, male and female, determined by reproductive anatomy at birth. This policy affects various federal domains, including prison and shelter segregation. Inmates and shelter residents will be housed according to their birth-assigned sex. Transgender Day of Visibility. The federal government will no longer recognize this day, which previously honored transgender individuals. Funding for transition services. Federal funds will no longer support gender transition services, including surgeries and hormone therapies. Supporters argue this order aims to protect women's rights and ensure clarity in federal policies. However, civil rights groups have condemned the move, stating that it undermines the rights and identities of transgender individuals. Legal challenges are anticipated as advocacy groups mobilize to contest the order's validity. Termination of diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs. In line with his campaign promises, President Trump has issued an order to dismantle DEI programs within the federal government. This action includes elimination of DEI training. Federal agencies will cease all diversity training initiatives. Review of hiring practices. Policies that consider race, gender, or sexual orientation in hiring and promotions are to be discontinued. Proponents claim this order promotes a merit-based system, free from preferential treatment. Conversely, critics argue that it disregards systemic inequalities and reverses progress made in workplace inclusivity. Notably, this order was signed on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a decision that has intensified the backlash from civil rights organizations. Deployment of U.S. troops to the southern border. Addressing immigration concerns, President Trump has authorized the deployment of U.S. troops to the southern border. This executive order entails military presence. Active duty troops will be stationed at the U.S.-Mexico border to assist with security and immigration enforcement. Completion of the border wall. The Departments of Homeland Security and Defense are directed to finalize the construction of the border wall. Advocates believe this measure is necessary to curb illegal immigration and protect national sovereignty. However, opponents raise concerns about the militarization of the border and potential humanitarian issues, especially with reports of migrant caravans approaching the U.S. riders. In a highly controversial move, the president has signed an order aiming to end birthright citizenship for children born in the United States to undocumented immigrants. This order challenges the long-standing interpretation of the 14th Amendment. Legal experts widely anticipate that this action will face immediate judicial scrutiny, as altering birthright citizenship is a complex constitutional issue that many argue cannot be changed through executive action alone. In an effort to combat international crime, another executive order designates certain foreign drug cartels as terrorist organizations. This classification aims to enhance law enforcement tools, providing agencies with broader authority to target and dismantle these groups. It also seeks to increase sanctions by imposing stricter financial and travel restrictions on individuals associated with these cartels. While this move is intended to strengthen the fight against drug trafficking, critics caution that it could complicate diplomatic relations and potentially lead to unintended military engagements. President Trump has declared a national energy emergency aiming to boost domestic energy production. This order seeks to reduce regulatory hurdles by streamlining the approval process for energy projects, particularly those involving fossil fuels. It also aims to promote energy independence by increasing oil and gas production to reduce reliance on foreign energy sources. Supporters argue that this move will create jobs and strengthen national security. However, environmental groups express concern over potential ecological damage and a rollback of efforts to combat climate change. The president has reinstated a federal hiring freeze, aiming to reduce the size of the federal workforce. This order includes an immediate suspension of hiring. All federal agencies are to halt hiring new employees, with exceptions for national security and public safety. Additionally, agencies are directed to evaluate their workforce size. They need to assess their staffing needs and identify areas for potential reductions. Advocates believe this will lead to a more efficient government. Critics, however, warn that it could hinder the functioning of federal services and overburden existing employees. In an effort to increase productivity, President Trump has issued an order limiting telework for federal employees. This includes mandatory return to office. Federal employees are required to return to in-person work, reducing remote work arrangements. Agencies must evaluate the impact of telework on performance and report findings. Supporters argue that in-person work enhances collaboration and efficiency. However, opponents believe this policy overlooks the benefits of flexible work arrangements and could negatively impact morale, recruitment, and retention in the federal workforce. President Trump has reinstated a travel ban targeting specific countries, citing national security concerns. This order primarily affects travelers from nations identified as high risk due to terrorism or insufficient vetting processes. The new order includes several countries previously on the list and adds new ones, predominantly from the Middle East and Africa. Travelers from these countries must undergo enhanced vetting protocols. Supporters believe this measure is necessary to safeguard national security, but critics argue it is discriminatory and unfairly targets Muslim-majority nations. Legal challenges are expected as opponents contest the ban's constitutionality and humanitarian implications. In a move to shift U.S. policy on climate change, President Trump has revoked the country's commitments to international climate agreements, including rejoining the Paris Agreement. Federal programs promoting renewable energy and emission reductions will be scaled back or eliminated. Policies will prioritize coal, oil, and natural gas production over renewable energy investments. Proponents of the move argue it will bolster the economy and reduce energy costs. However, environmentalists warn this decision could exacerbate global climate challenges and isolate the U.S. And that wraps up our breakdown of the 10 most controversial executive orders signed by President Trump on his first day back in office. These decisions are sure to ignite intense debates and have far-reaching consequences for our nation and the world. What do you think about these orders? Which ones do you agree or disagree with, and why? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us grow and bring you more in-depth analyses of the events shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Impact Uncovered.